Scene script. Have you ever wondered how something as massive as an airplane can soar through the skies? This question, as simple as it seems, hides within it a fascinating mystery. It's a question that has puzzled many a curious mind, and it's the very question we're going to explore today. Imagine this, a colossal metal bird weighing hundreds of thousands of pounds, effortlessly gliding through the air. It's almost as if it defies the very laws of gravity. How does this incredible feat happen? Is it some form of magic? Or could it be something else? Every time we see an airplane in the sky, we're witnessing the culmination of centuries of scientific understanding and technological innovation. From the earliest dreams of flight to the sophisticated aircrafts we use today, humans have always been captivated by the possibility of defying gravity and traveling through the skies. But what really allows these giant machines to take flight? What makes them rise into the air, cruise at incredible altitudes, and descend back to the ground safely? It all comes down to two key principles: air pressure and aerodynamics. These principles are the invisible forces that make the magic of flight possible. And while it might seem complex, it's a beautiful dance of science that happens every time a plane takes off. Air pressure, the force exerted by the weight of air, and aerodynamics, the study of how air moves around objects, combine to create the conditions necessary for an airplane to lift off the ground and stay in the air. But we're just scratching the surface here. There's much more to this captivating story of flight. So, buckle up and get ready for an intriguing journey into the heart of how airplanes fly. We're about to delve deep into the complexities and wonders of air pressure and aerodynamics. It's not magic, it's science. Let's unravel the mystery of flight together. Air, as light and invisible as it may seem, holds immense power, the power of pressure. Now, let's unravel this power. Imagine you're holding a balloon. It's not just filled with air, but also with pressure. The pressure inside the balloon is greater than the pressure outside, and that's why it expands. This is a simple way to understand air pressure. It's all about the force exerted by the weight of air. But here's the catch. Air pressure isn't the same everywhere. It changes with altitude. Picture yourself climbing a mountain. As you ascend, the air gets thinner and there's less air above you. This decrease in air weight reduces the air pressure. That's why it's harder to breathe at high altitudes. There's less pressure to push oxygen into your lungs. Now, let's bring this concept back to airplanes. The wings of an airplane are designed in a special way, thicker at the front and thinner at the back. This shape is called an airfoil. When the airplane moves, air travels faster over the top of the wing, which is longer, and slower underneath, which is shorter. This difference in speed creates a pressure difference, lower pressure on top and higher pressure beneath. And here's where the magic happens. Just like the balloon, the airplane wants to move from high pressure to low pressure. This pressure difference generates lift, an upward force that opposes the weight of the airplane, allowing it to rise into the sky. So essentially, it's the air pressure that's pushing the airplane up. But remember, air pressure isn't the only player in this game. There are other forces at work, like gravity pulling the airplane down and thrust and drag acting in opposite directions. The balance of these forces is what keeps the airplane in the sky. So, air pressure plays a crucial role in flight. But how exactly does it enable an airplane to fly? Well, hold on tight, because we're about to dive into the world of wings and aerodynamics. The secret lies in the wings, in their special shape and design, an area of study known as aerodynamics. You see, wings are not just appendages sticking out from the body of an airplane. They are meticulously engineered marvels that harness the power of air pressure to create lift. Let's think about the wings for a moment. Have you ever noticed how they're flat on the bottom and curved on the top? This isn't a design coincidence, but a purposeful choice made by aeronautical engineers. This design is known as an airfoil, and it's what makes flight possible. When air hits the front of the wing, it splits into two streams. One rushes along the flat bottom, while the other takes the longer path over the curved top. The air moving over the top has to travel a greater distance in the same amount of time, which means it moves faster. And according to Bernoulli's principle, faster moving air creates lower pressure. So what happens next? Well, the high pressure underneath the wing pushes up, while the low pressure on top pulls the wing upward. This difference in pressure between the top and bottom of the wing creates lift. But let's not forget the angle of the wing, also known as the angle of attack. When a plane is about to take off, the wings are tilted slightly upwards. This increases the amount of air that hits the bottom of the wing, further increasing the air pressure and thus the lift. However, it's important to note that there's a limit to this. If the angle becomes too steep, the air can't smoothly flow over the wing anymore. The result is a sudden loss of lift, or what pilots call a stall. In essence, the wings of an airplane are a perfect example of physics in action. They manipulate the air pressure to create lift, enabling us to conquer the skies. The wings lift the plane, but that's just part of the story. There's more to it. So stay tuned to uncover the rest of this fascinating tale of flight. While lift pulls the airplane up, it's the thrust that propels it forward. Thrust is the driving force behind an airplane's flight. It's the power that propels the plane, pushing it forward against the air. Imagine you're swimming. To move forward, you need to push the water behind you, right? That's essentially what thrust does. It propels an airplane forward by pushing the air behind it. But wait, there's an opposing force at play here too. As the plane moves forward, it has to push through the air in front of it. This air resists the plane's movement, creating a force that we call drag. Try running with a parachute open behind you, and you'll get a pretty good feel for what drag is like. It's the force that slows you down, pulling against your forward movement. So, how do these two forces, thrust and drag, work together in flight? Well, they're in a constant tug of war. When an airplane is in steady flight, the thrust and drag are balanced. The airplane's engines generate just enough thrust to overcome the drag, allowing the plane to maintain its speed and direction. But what happens when the airplane wants to speed up or slow down? That's when the balance shifts. To speed up, the airplane needs to generate more thrust than drag. This extra thrust pushes the airplane forward faster, overcoming the increased drag that comes with higher speeds. Conversely, to slow down, the airplane reduces its thrust, allowing the drag to pull it back and decrease its speed. Remember, thrust and drag aren't working alone. They're part of a team with lift and weight. Lift pulls the airplane up, and weight pulls it down. Together, these four forces create a delicate balance that allows an airplane to fly, turn, climb, and descend. Thrust and drag, lift and weight, these are the forces that keep an airplane in flight. So we've seen how air pressure, aerodynamics, and the four forces of flight work together to keep an airplane airborne. It's quite a marvel, isn't it? But let's take a moment to bring it all together, to really understand the sheer ingenuity and science that makes flight possible. Firstly, we talked about air pressure and the crucial role it plays in flight. Imagine the aircraft as a swimmer and the sky as an enormous ocean of air. The aircraft swims through this ocean, propelled by its engines. The wings, designed with a special shape called an airfoil, create a difference in air pressure above and below them. The pressure is lower on top and higher on the bottom, which creates lift. Then we moved on to aerodynamics, the study of how air moves around objects. The design of an airplane is a testament to the principles of aerodynamics. The wings, tail, and even the body of the plane are all designed to minimize air resistance and maximize stability and control. Next, we explored the four forces of flight: lift, weight, thrust, and drag. Lift and weight are opposing forces. Lift, generated by the wings, counters the weight of the plane. Thrust and drag are also opposites. Thrust, produced by the engines, propels the plane forward, while drag tries to slow it down. For a plane to take off, the lift must be greater than the weight, and the thrust must be greater than the drag. When all these elements come together in perfect harmony, flight is achieved. It's a delicate balance of forces, a dance of air pressure and aerodynamics. It's not just about getting a large metal object off the ground, it's about controlling it, guiding it, ensuring that it doesn't just ascend, but that it can maneuver, change direction, and land safely. Next time you see an airplane in the sky, you'll know it's not magic, but a fascinating interplay of scientific principles that make it fly.